And we're live.
What's up, everyone? We are back. This is week three against the spread NFL picks. Real quick, we'll recap last week. I mean, after week one, we came back on fire.
Oh
We
yeah,
went
bud.
5-0 with two ties, so 5-0-2. We'll take the two ties all day, better than a loss. Um, Had Atlanta on Monday night plus 6.5. We had the number early, so we had the good number. They ended up winning outright, but at one point they were down six with the 50
Yeah,
seconds to go,
we were feeling good.
and we would have won no matter what. So really, really good feeling there on Monday night. Sunday night football, we had Houston minus six. Um, Cam Akers fumbling on the 1 yard line there to go up 13 made us tie. So we'll
Yeah,
take the tie,
but
but
7-0 would have been awesome.
that fumble really hurt.
7-0, this close to
Cincinnati.
7-0.
Oh, I know, dude. It's tough. Cincinnati plus 6.5, easy. I mean, never a sweat in that game. They should have won the game. Um, the Chiefs get bailed out again. Christian's gonna have something to say about that, but just my take on it. Um, Arizona minus 1.5. I mean, that was the easiest bet of the weekend. That we don't have to talk much about that. The Rams are depleted, and we'll take that 1.5 and ride.
Yeah,
Jets minus 3.5. That was a little sweaty there, but they ended up getting it done in there at the end, winning by a touchdown. Since Seattle minus three, at one point I thought we were going to lose that bet. We get it in overtime, and obviously they kicked the field goal and we push. So another tie there. Well, that game will take the push. The Houston one was a little tough to take because they should have been up 13 with that last
yeah,
drive. But
for sure,
and
for
then
sure.
Minnesota plus 6.5. I mean, me and Christian last week both loved this pick. And it was from the start an easy, no sweater. The 49ers were trying to and were in comeback mode the entire time. That defense with B-Flow on the DC side, he has that defense playing really, really good. A lot of Tampa 2 stuff. I've seen a lot of tape on their defense this week, and it's really, really interesting how they do things. I really like to see. I like what they're doing. They'll bring like everybody at the line. I'll have the safeties all the way down, and then sometimes the safeties will play flats and the corners come out and cover two. Or the safeties will run back. Like it's just a bunch of disguise. Purdy was confused the entire time. And Minnesota looks for real, and so does Sam Donald. So
Yeah,
with that being said, again, 5-0-2 last week plus 5 units. That brings
hmm,
our total on the year. It's only 2 weeks. We're down zero point 0.8 units. So not after week
yeah,
one, we'll take that all day long.
yeah.
And we will start it with week three, Thursday night football, which is in a couple of hours. Patriots at the Jets. And before we get started on this, Christian, only the second time the Jets have been favored in a matchup with the Jets and Patriots since 2002. The last time was Mark Sanchez in 2011, I believe. So only the second time. And they are, at this point in time, they're 6.5 point favorites. We posted on the Discord our play earlier in the week. And if you want that play, then obviously go to the Discord. It's in the link. So, Christian, I'll start it with this game. I think the Patriots coming off a two back-to-back close games. The Jets are starting to get in a flow. A-Rod and his receivers started getting the flow. I have a crazy stat for you.
Mm,
Teams off of an overtime game with 4 days of rest or less, that would be the Patriots,
hmm,
versus an opponent not off an OT game, that would be the Jets,
hmm.
are 3-23 ATS since 2002. That's 11%.
Wow.
Okay.
I think I saw that tweet earlier.
Did you? I saw the other day and I couldn't believe it. So
That's crazy.
we sent out our pick in the Discord. We'll kind of tell you here. We're going to be leaning Jets. We got it at Jets minus six. Um,
What are
I
we talking
love
about? We're all over the Jets. We're all over
I
the
love what
Jets.
we see out of the Jets. I think the Patriots they're still not a good football team, and the Jets defense has to come around at some point. They have too much talent on that side of the ball. I think they figured things out this week against Jacoby Brissett. And A-Rod has a game. I think Garrett Wilson is his coming out party as well. What
Jesus
are your
Christ.
thoughts, Coleman?
I don't know. My nose is itching like fucking crazy. But but anyway, yeah, I'm all over the fucking Jets. Yeah, so I'm gonna come out plain and simple. I think the Jets absolutely steamroll the Patriots. The Jets have been on the road the first 2 weeks of their season, so this is their first home game of the season, and this is really A-Rod's coming out like
Yeah.
A-Rod is coming out party in New York. You know what I mean? He got hurt at the beginning of last year, like first 3 plays or whatever. So I think this is his coming out party. He hasn't he's played good like all season. He's played decent, but he hasn't played like Aaron Rodgers. And he's 2 games in now. I think he's loosened up that Achilles a little bit. Like he's starting to trust it a little bit more. It looked like last game he was starting to like do his little rollouts like he likes to do, and he looked like prime Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I think he comes out and just absolutely smokes the Patriots. They've come out and looked so hot in the first 2 weeks, and we know that when bad teams do that, when they have that down game, it's a big down game, I think.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a big down game for the Patriots. This is going to be a coming to reality moment for the Patriots. Like, oh, like, yeah, we do suck. Like, we suck like we thought we did. So yeah, I'm all over the Jets. I love them -6. I love them money line and parlays. I love them everything. Which also brings me to the fact, go to our Discord in the link. We're gonna start doing a touchdown parlay, and then a pick'em parlay as well, and that'll be in the Discord. So if you want to see that, go to the Discord, accept that invite.
Just for fun.
In our
just
bio.
for fun. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's also just for fun. So it's not counting towards our units, obviously. This is not something that we're expecting to hit. It's just a 10 to win 1,000 type kind of bets. If you love those type of bets, then so do we, and we like to do them every week just for fun.
And if you don't like the Jets -6, we put out a teaser on the Discord as well that we really love. That's going to be counted towards units this week.
Yes, that will be counted towards units.
And we have the Jets in that teaser. It's a sexy ass teaser. I'd be shocked if it doesn't hit. But we like the Jets. We like A-Rod. So we'll move on to Sunday 1 o'clock slate. We have the Chargers at the Steelers. We know that Jim Harbaugh and the boys have stayed out east, so no time stuff going on. They've been out east for a couple weeks now, so they should be adjusted. The Chargers defense is for real. I think they're playing really well. Harbaugh, he likes to run the football, control clock, and that's exactly what the Steelers like to do as well. So I think this game's going to be low scoring. It's basically a pick 'em right now. I think the Steelers are a 1-point favorite. I don't like either side. I could see it going either way. And then the total is 35.5, super low. So I think for me personally, I think both teams are kind of in a similar situation. Both 2-0, because of their defenses playing really well. And then the Chargers, obviously, they haven't played anybody. They played the Panthers and the Raiders week 1. So. I can't put a finger on what I would lean here. If anything, I would lean the under, but the 35.5 just scares me. I think it's just I don't want to mess with.
Let's just say Vegas knows what they're doing on this game, because the Chargers are obviously the better team, but they cannot make Mike Tomlin a dog at home. Like, they just can't, because they know that they're going to lose their ass. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, the Chargers are the much better team. They should win this game, absolutely. But the reason that I'm not going to bet this game is because that Steelers defense and Mike Tomlin, which also we just talked about this with the last game. This is the Steelers' first home game. The Steelers fans have been waiting 2 weeks for a home game. Finally, it's there, and like that stadium, I'll tell you from personal experience, that stadium is loud, and when those terrible towels are going, that's a scary place to be. And I mean, you just can't bet against Mike Tomlin like that at home, first game of the season after they just won 2 games that they probably shouldn't have. And that defense is just, good Lord, that defense is so good. Justin Fields has looked better and better every week, so
yeah, he has.
I'm a little bit biased, but I mean, I think this is a big stay away spot. But if I had gun to my head to pull the trigger, I'm taking Chargers money line still. You know what I mean? Like, they are the much better team, and if there's anyone that can beat Mike Tomlin, it's Jim Harbaugh. That's like, 2 Greek gods. Fucking going.
And they have the better quarterback as well. So,
but yeah, exactly.
You always think about that when you have a coin flip type of game. So we'll move on to the next game. Texans at the Vikings. Houston is on the money line at -135. I believe they are Coleman, a 2.5-point favorite.
Yes.
The 2.5 now still? Yeah, 2.5-point favorite. No, it's at 2 now. I'm sorry. It's at -2, and the total is 46.5. So for me personally, I think both of these teams are really good football teams. And I think a lot of the public is going to think, oh, okay, first 2 weeks, both of these teams, CJ Stroud, the Vikings offense has come out firing. I think we're going to go under here. I like what I see out of the Texans defense. I think their secondary is insanely good. With Stingley out there and then the rookie Kamari Lassiter.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys are locked. If you watch the Bears game I mean, it was locked down on the outside. The two safeties are really good as well. And then the Viking, I talked about the Vikings defense earlier, with B-Flow at the helm. I think this game goes under the 46.5. We posted that as a play in the Discord as well. And I think the defenses are just too strong for that number to go over. And
Yeah.
we've seen the quarterback play take a dip this year, and I think it's going to continue here. So we're going to
Yeah.
take the under 46.5. Colm, you have any thoughts on it?
I love the under 46.5. And another reason that we took it also is you got to think about this. This is a D'Amico Ryans versus Brian Flores matchup. These are
Yeah,
two elite defenses, probably two of the best coach defenses in the league.
totally agree.
So I mean, this is a defensive matchup. I just, it's so weird to me though, because like 46.5 is so crazy high to me because the Texans just put up 19 on the Bears. They didn't play that great. Texans did not play that great against the Bears. They played the Colts, didn't play that great against them, and the Colts will probably have one of the worst defenses in the league. So I mean, the Texans have won the first 2 weeks, but I think they've been kind of like underwhelming in my opinion. So if they're like this Super Bowl team that they think they are, they need to kind of start lighting it up a little bit more on offense, I think. But I mean, I agree with you here. I think the Texans could get a reality check here too, facing this Vikings defense, because this is going to be by far the best defense they've played all year. And of course they've only played the Bears and the Colts, but the Bears have a decent defense, but the Colts are dog shit. So
The Colts' run defense is bad. We'll
yeah.
get to the
But
Colts
I mean, the
here
secondary's
soon.
not great either. I mean,
Well,
but
yeah, the whole defense is good. Obviously, the
yeah,
offense is going to score points.
but yeah, we'll get there.
Their
We'll
head
get
coach
there.
is
But
obviously an
yeah,
offensive guy.
absolutely love the under. Absolutely love the under.
Yeah, I think 46.5 is just a ton.
That's so much. That's
I
crazy.
mean, those defenses are. I don't know. I can't see it. So, all right, next game, Eagles at the Saints. This one was crazy because it opened up as the Eagles as a 2.5 point favorite.
Mm.
It is now switched to the Saints being a 2.5 point favorite. Obviously, the Saints have played the best football of the entire year for the NFL. So I'll hit you with this, Cole, because we don't have a play in this game. I think it's just too scary to lay aside. But
I got
this
to play
kind
in
of
this
makes me
game.
lean Eagles here. Teams that open up as dogs, that would be the Saints,
We also do have
and
a play on this game.
close as favorites, 69-97 ATS since 2019. So obviously way under 500. So that means you would want to take, if you go by the analytics here, you'd want to take the Eagles. They opened up as the favorite. They're now the dog, right? Vice versa, that's the stat I just gave you. Open up as a dog, you close as a favorite. 69-97 ATS since 2019. That'd be the Saints. So seeing that, like, it kind of puts me in that mindset of, if I'm the Eagles and I see that, oh, you think we're not the favorite anymore. It kind of puts the chip on their back, right? I think they have the offense to keep up with the Saints. They obviously have good enough defensive players to hang with them. I would lean the Eagles here, but again, the Saints have looked so good. Kamara's looked really good that we're obviously staying away from this, but that's why I stay away.
We actually do have a bet on this game. We have Eagles +3.
Did you add that?
Yes, that has been on there. But anyway, the reason we have Eagles +3.
Well, you tell me why, because I'm staying away personally.
The Eagles +3. The reason I have Eagles +3 is because they just lost to the Falcons at home, and also I think Jalen Hurts played great. I think honestly, if Saquon catches that ball, the Eagles win that game. Like that's a tough loss, and when teams come off
Right.
tough losses like this, I mean it's crazy. And I think the Saints are probably the most overvalued team in the league right now. Yes, that defense does look scary. Yes, they are running around, and they look like a great defense. But also remember, like they played the Saints and then they played the Cowboys, and once again another overvalued team that we talk about every single year, the Cowboys. Like they play crazy good sometimes, and then they play crazy bad sometimes. So, I mean, it's one of those things where the Saints, yes, did beat the Cowboys, but let's be honest, that Panthers win that doesn't count. They're hardly a football team. So I mean, I just think the Saints are overvalued. They're super high right now. Everyone's loving them. They think they're the best team in the NFL. And then you have the Eagles, who just lost to the Falcons at home in the worst possible way on opening night. You know what I mean? Like, they did something for Jason Kelce at halftime too. Like, dude, this Eagles team is gonna have a terrible taste in their mouth. So I mean, I think
you just switched my mind. I think you're with the stat that I gave you, and then you kind of explaining it like that. You got me on that train now.
That's what I'm saying.
Is the number still at 3? So it went back down to 2.5.
And the way that Jalen Hurts was running the ball last week, I mean, dude, like this is what he should be doing every play. I'm either going to hand this ball off to Saquon, or I'm doing a play action rollout, and I'm either going to run or pass it to someone that is wide ass open. If they're not wide ass open, I'm taking these fucking gigantic thighs that I have, and I'm running people over until I get hurt. Like, you just got to have that mindset if you want to win a Super Bowl. And it seemed like that when he played the Falcons, dude. He was just like, fuck this, I'm running you over. He was like, fuck this, I'm tucking it and running. He had someone wide open, and he was like, nope, I'm running. And I love that as a quarterback, because, like, hey, if you don't think you can make that throw, like, across your body, like, don't fucking make it. Tuck it and run, dude. Get the 5 yards. Like, keep this drive going. So I love what I saw in that Falcons game. We, as a Falcons and, of course, Steelers fan, but as a Falcons fan, I like it. Just, we shouldn't have won that game, but we did, and I'm so glad.
I'll say this: 3rd and 4, you run that football, because you know if you get it to 4th and 1, you're converting that 4th and 1 with the tush push.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a stat on Monday night. It said, since Jalen Hurts has been the quarterback, they convert the tush push 90% of the time. Why in the hell are you throwing the? I know he was wide open, but at the same time, you run the football.
I agree.
You run it. They have no timeouts left. Another 40 seconds comes off the clock, and then you tush push.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Anyways,
I completely agree.
I'm with you. I like if it gets back to 3, I'm with you.
And also, if the Eagles lose his job, Nick Sirianni could be on the hot seat.
Which is stupid to me, but
I agree. But it's Philly, dude. It's fucking.
It doesn't
Philly.
matter if it's football, baseball,
but they'll
whatever.
burn the place down. They will literally burn the entire city. They don't care.
A bunch of. And can you think they're going to decide our election? Pennsylvania's going to decide.
Yeah, we're not getting into that. Anyways, but anyway, yes, that entire city will burn down if they start off the year 1-3, and Philly people don't give a fuck. They'll live in ashes, dude. They don't care. They'll build a bed out of some ashes. Like, they'll burn that place down if the Eagles go 1-3.
All right, next game: Broncos at the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a 6.5-point favorite. Opened at 7, down to 6.5. Total is 40.5. Here's my thing here: the Buccaneers are a way better football team. Baker has been incredible after signing with Tampa Bay last year and now getting the big. Just complete. You want to talk about changing your career? Bryce Young needs to follow that right there, because
Bryce Young to Miami. No one's talking about it.
I think that'd be great. But then you look at the Broncos. We saw them last year win a couple of these games. They're 0-2. I could see them coming in here and upsetting the Bucs, and that's why for me I don't like any part of this game. It's a trap game for the Bucs, and if in 6.5 I saw something the other day. Underdogs of 6.5 or more are undefeated this year.
Yeah.
ATS, or maybe a lot of them won outright as well.
Yeah, and
so it's another one of those games. I can't get there. So for me, I'm out on this game. I know you are as well.
Yeah. No.
And Mike Evans scores a touchdown.
Yeah, Mike Evans scores a touchdown.
That's all I got.
I like it. But what's it called? Another prop I like in this game, because I don't like either side. I'm not touching any side in this game. I like a Bo Nix over 170 passing yards. That's my that's my only pick in this game. But yeah, let's go to this next game. Packers at Titans. God, I love this game. Packers at Titans. Titans, I believe, have moved all the way to
Two and a
what,
half.
minus a 2.5. Oh my gosh! So me and Troy got
Went
in
up
this
again.
game when it was minus. I think it was what, -1,
Yeah, we
minus
posted in
one
the
and a half.
Discord money line at -130. It is now at 145, which I think is way
Yeah.
too much to take. But 130, I
Yeah,
like.
and in the Discord, that's on us. We posted the -1.5, but we meant money line. That's on us. But the
No,
line has
I
moved.
corrected. I sent a correction in there.
Okay, you
It's all
did.
good.
Good, good, good,
Yeah.
good.
Um,
So yeah, money line.
yeah, money line Titans. So this is the thing though. Jordan Love's questionable. He's been practicing. And that's what.
He
Wow.
ain't playing, bro.
I don't think he's playing either. But I mean, you never know.
Yeah, there's no way. No way Jordan Love plays in this game. Titans money line. If Jordan Love plays, then we're losing that bet. But if he doesn't, that's an easy win. Malik
Well,
basically used
I
all his
wouldn't say
magic
it's an
up
easy
last week.
win. I think it's still.
I think it's a
I think it's
blowout.
still kind of up in the air
I think they
when it
score
comes to.
2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, the defense for the Packers is really good, and that's what scares me. With Will Levis.
Yeah, that
So
does scare me.
if Will Levis does some crazy shit like he's done the last couple of weeks, throwing the ball,
There's no way he does it 3 weeks in a row, right?
I doubt it. Right.
Yeah.
So
There's no way.
I think it's going to be low scoring defensive game. The Titans defense is
Yeah.
elite, and that's what we're banking on here. We're
Mhm.
banking on that defense to come alive and win this football game. We need Will Levis to show up for a couple of drives, go score, 17, 20 points, and I think if they do that, they win this game. Now, if Jordan Love comes back, I still think that's the case because
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think
going
it's
to be
Love.
as mobile as usual with that knee issue. So I
There's
think it's
no way he plays.
best
There's
case
no-
scenario for the Packers to have Malik playing because he actually can get outside the pocket. Jordan Love right now, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. So I
Dude,
think
Malik
Packers
just
are
got a
smart.
win.
They sit him.
Malik just got them their first win. He's going to play this week. They're going to rest Jordan Love. There's no way he plays this weekend. Also, Will Levis has not been playing horrible. It's just these the few mistakes that he does make, they're massive mistakes, and they're like the worst things that you can possibly do. So if he just like, it's got to be coaching because at this point it's like, how do you not tell this guy, hey, just this is how we play in the NFL. Like you're used to playing this backyard style at Kentucky. I don't know what they let you do there, but I mean this is the NFL. Like you hit your guys, you do you do the simple stuff, and he's just not doing the simple stuff right. So as long as he doesn't make big mistakes, he's a pretty damn good quarterback. So I think he has a really good game this week. The Packers defense is going to be good, but I still think he plays great, and he had that. And I think it was actually week 3 last year. I think they played the Bears, and he didn't look great the first 2 weeks. But then that third week, once he got kind of comfortable and kind of adjusted, he played great against that Bears defense, which was pretty decent last year. I mean, that was like I think they were like a top 10 or top 5 defense last year. Top 5 is a stretch, but yeah, I mean, I think Will Levis is a guy. I really do think he's a guy. I think he's a talented quarterback. He's just got to get.
Now here's a
comfortable.
guy. Who's that sound like? That's what's.
Here's
Collinsworth?
a guy.
All right.
The best.
Next
of guys.
game, we both like this one. Giants at the Browns. The Browns are a 6.5-point favorite. It opened up at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and tell you right now. We posted this to Discord. We got Giants +7. I still like it at 6.5, Christian.
Yeah, I would
And
buy
I'll
the
tell you,
hook.
I'll
Buy
tell
the
you
hook.
why. Daniel Jones last week actually played decent football. The Browns, they're going to want to control clock, play with that defense. So 7 points is a lot when you have a team that plays that way. I think if the Giants can put up a couple of touchdowns and hopefully they have a field goal kicker this week, then we'll definitely cover that number. Deshaun Watson has still looked average last week again. So I think 7 is just a lot in this situation here. The Giants are 0-2. Dayball obviously on the hot seat here. He's got to win some games. I know he's not in a great situation.
Which is such bullshit because I think he's one of the best. It's just like the Vrabel situation, man. Like, why are we firing these great coaches? You know what I mean? Like, I still think Vrabel shouldn't have been fired. I think
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we firing? You got a guy. You got the
I
guy.
agree.
He just doesn't have the team yet. Like,
I agree.
The whole
100%.
Vrabel situation pisses me off too. With the whole fucking
Well, that's the
AJ
NFL,
Brown
man.
thing. The
That's
AJ
the
Brown
NFL.
thing too. You trade away his number one receiver, and don't get me started. But
It's the NFL. And then it's a lot of the times it's the GM's fault when they put
exactly.
together a team.
Exactly.
Like, did you watch Hard Knocks off season with the Giants?
Yes. That GM
I mean, why
pisses me off.
How do you not sign Saquon there?
And also, that guy just sucks, doesn't he? I hated that guy. The whole time I'm watching, I'm like, dude, this is the corniest guy. You can just tell no one in the building had respect for him. Like, that was a hard watch in my opinion.
I mean, I enjoyed the watch because you got to see the behind the scenes things, but
I'm saying the GM stuff though was hard to watch.
When it comes
that
to that GM, I think not signing Saquon I get the whole running back thing. Like, I get you can get a running back nowadays and pay him really cheap and he still performs like a Pacheco, or somebody like that. But when you have a Saquon and he wants to come back, like that one,
yeah.
Then he goes to your rival. That one questions me, right?
And, Joe Schoen is who we're referring to.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah,
Joe
Show.
Yeah.
Anyways, next game, the last 1 p.m. game of the day on Sunday. Bears at the Colts. You have the worst run defense in the league in the Colts against the mighty Bears. Caleb Williams looks awful. Let me tell you something about Caleb Williams. The fact that CJ went up to him and tried to offer him some words of encouragement, some advice, like, "Hey, dude, like, hey, you got to get down, like those hits."
And he walked away.
And he starts to walk away, and CJ's like, "Hey, come here!" Like, just an absolute clown.
I think from both sides though, because also CJ, it's also at the same time like, "Hey, dude, you're still in your second year." You know what I mean?
He wasn't trying.
And I know he wasn't. But and also Caleb, like, you can't just walk away from that because at the same time you're talking to who was the offensive rookie of the year last year. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if anyone knows how to do it, it's him. I understand. But also at the same time, CJ, like, I wouldn't have said that to him either. You know what I mean? Like, so I could have seen how Caleb took it the wrong way, but also at the same time, you just can't be a dick and walk away. Like, you know what I mean? But also at the same time, like, CJ, you're in your second year. Like, I understand you made the playoffs last year. Yeah. Like, but at the same time, making the playoffs is only one step in the NFL. There's a lot more steps you got to take to, like, be wanting to give young guys advice. Like, they're the same age, dude. They're both 22. So I can also see why Caleb was like, dude, this guy literally just left a year before me. That was it. You know what I mean? But also on the CJ thing, or on the Caleb Williams thing, Caleb does look like shit. Yes. Is this Bears offensive line one of the worst offensive lines in the league? Yes, though. Like, he got.
I think that doesn't tell the whole story, Cole.
Smashed.
They can't run the football like they need to run the football. So then he can actually have protection, because all these teams are doing is these pass, like for the Texans, for example, Will Anderson is just sitting there ready to rush the pass. Like, he's not getting tested at all in the run game. So he's just going. It's not fair for him. And if they can't run the ball, then he's not going to get protected properly.
Yeah, this is also another prop I like in this game. I like DeAndre Swift over 50 yards. Because this is the worst run defense in the league, and I think
it's only at 50?
Yes, it's at 50.
That's a good find right there.
So I'll take DeAndre Swift over 50 rushing yards because I think he goes for 100 plus this game.
But to get back to a side here, this game's ugly.
I actually might put that in our plays.
I think Caleb possibly has a decent game here.
Yeah.
I would look for I would lean over here. I think the Colts are gonna score some points. And the Bears are also, I think, going to score some points, and that offense might come alive a little bit. 43.5 is pretty low. So I'd lean that way. Not going to take it, though, because this game is just not a good game.
And with this next game, we can say at least Caleb isn't as bad as this next quarterback, Bryce Young.
He's not even playing, but this starts the 4 o'clock slate for us. So Panthers at the Raiders. The Raiders are now, it opened at 7. The Bryce Young news comes out, and it's now at 5. Total's at 39.5. Andy Dalton has been a quarterback in this league for a while, obviously veteran. He knows how to play football in this league a lot better than most quarterbacks in this league, in my opinion.
And he sees Sam Darnold going off.
Do what?
And he sees Sam Darnold going off.
I mean, I think it's a tough one. That defense for the Raiders, I think Max Crosby can take over a game, which he did last week,
He's a TJ
and
Watt guy.
that's what scares me, right? So,
Yeah,
I
that's very
think
true.
I lean heavy towards the Panthers, but
Same.
Crosby, and I mean, like I said, he can take over a football game, and I don't want to bet against Crosby. I think, and let's talk about Brock Bowers too. I mean, he's come. I
Woo!
mean,
Go
wow.
Dogs.
He is, well, yeah, go dogs, but he's doing exactly what he did in college. He's on pace to, I think Gronk had an interview this week saying like he might be better than he was in the passing game at least, right?
Yeah,
I know Gronk blocking wise is a different animal,
it's
but he
another
said it in
tackle.
a, trying to remember what pot, I think it was the Kay Adams show. Him and Devontae were on there with her, and Devontae was saying like all this guy cares about is football, does not care about anything else.
Hmm.
No distractions. He's down to earth guy. He's losing his hair a little bit, but all he cares about is football. So I think the Raiders, once they get a quarterback there, because Gardner Minshew is
Why'd you
obviously
have to
not your
do him
guy.
like that?
He's doable for now, but once they get a quarterback there, um,
Shooter.
they're gonna be. Oh God, dude, don't even get me started. We're not gonna talk about him. But I mean, what are you thinking here, Cole?
I'm with you, man. I'm not gonna touch it. Big lean to the Panthers plus the 5. Um, but yeah, I mean Brock Bowers had his coming out party. Gardner Minshew isn't a guy, but he's probably the best guy that's not a guy. So I mean, they at least have that. So I'm gonna stay away from it.
Yeah,
Kind of for the same reasons that you said too. Max Crosby can just bust a game wide open, cause a lot of havoc in the backfield, cause a lot of fumbles on Gardner Minshew, who's known to not be able to protect the ball well on sacks. So yeah, I'm gonna stay away from this one, but big lean to the Panthers plus 5, just because anytime you have a
you
backup
mean
like
Andy
that.
Dalton, right?
I said Panthers plus 5.
No, you said Max Crosby, and then You meant Andy Dalton, not Gardner
Oh
Minshew.
yeah, my bad, my bad.
Yeah, you're
Andy,
good.
yeah,
I just
Andy
wanted to
Dalton.
correct.
He can cause a lot, yeah, cause a lot of fumbles on Andy Dalton, I think. But anyway, yeah, that I don't have anything on this game, but big lean to the
Feel
Panthers.
you. All right, so next game on the slate, Dolphins at the Seahawks. Seahawks opened up as a 6.5 point favorite. They are now a 4. So obviously that has come down a ton. We know is DK. I think DK is still questionable. Obviously two is out with the concussion. We
Mm-hmm.
saw him play with his fingers after he got hit. That was scary, a scary moment.
Skyler's starting.
Skyler starting for them. I mean, this is your typical backup quarterback. Come in there,
Shock
drag
the
the
world.
game out, and it's like a Malik Willis situation last week. Like that's why we stayed away from it because we've seen this year in and year out with the NFL where quarterback goes down, the backup comes in, and they end up covering or winning the game.
Yeah.
So I think the Seahawks are the better team, like when it comes to quarterback play, obviously. But the Dolphins have weapons on the outside. I think if Skyler can get the ball to those guys quick, let them do their Tyreek and Waddle and A Chain. Let those guys do all the heavy lifting and not try to force the ball down the field. Then I think they have a chance to cover the 4. I'm not going to touch. We're obviously not going to touch it because it's a
Yeah.
lot of guessing there with Skyler.
And
Like
Skylar Thompson is also very bad.
yeah. So
Very,
for
very
that
bad.
reason, we're not going to touch it. But I can really, I think if McDaniel has that game plan, then they have a real shot at winning this game. Not only just
Yeah.
covering.
The Dolphins, in not to mention, man, the the fact that the Dolphins made no moves this week towards getting a better starting quarter, like a better backup quarterback to start, is crazy in my
They did
opinion.
get what's his name from the Ravens.
They got Huntley.
Yeah.
Is he not there yet? Why is he not playing?
Well, because they just got him as a backup.
Yeah, but I mean, we
They
had
just got him
like
for depth.
we had like Baker Mayfield go to the Rams 2 years ago and just hop right in. You know, you could have
Whole
Huntley do
different
the same
situation.
thing.
That's I I think if they're going to do anything, they need to go trade for a Matthew Stafford
No, they
um
can't get him.
or,
Dude,
or
the Rams
Bryce
are not
Young.
letting go of Matt Stafford. And I don't think Matt
Why would
Stafford
they
wants
not
to.
let go of? He has 2 years left on the contract. He's 37 years old. If he wants, the entire team's hurt. Their season's over.
Is Puka
Cooper Cup's
and
Puka and Cooper, they're all their offensive lines all hurt. Their season's done. They're going to lose to the 49ers this week, and they're not making the playoffs. And they had a real shot at this, like beginning of this year, they were an NFC contender. So why, if you're the Rams and you know Matthew's coming in at the end of his career here, why would you not trade away Matthew and especially Matthew if he wants to go to a contender here at the end of his career? I think it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it's a possibility to the Raiders more, but I think Matthew, that has to be a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, Bryce Young. You could go after
I mean,
Bryce
yeah,
Young.
yeah, we talked about that
You
too.
could get a possible like you don't know what you have in Bryce Young because he's been on the Panthers. So who knows if he doesn't go to the Dolphins and it's a Baker situation where he just. I mean, dude, Baker was at the Panthers and he sucked too. Like, I think the Panthers organization is just so bad and that team is so bad that like no one can be successful there. And I think Bryce Young would be successful on the Dolphins. I will say that. I think he would do well because it's like he's going back to Bama. You know what I mean? He's got his 5-star wide receivers on the outside and a decent offensive line that can protect him long enough where he can get outside the pocket and throw it deep to him or, he's an accurate quarterback, man. And yeah, I don't know. I would love to see Bryce Young go to the Dolphins, but yeah, I'm not touching this game. Let's get to the next one.
So next game, Lions at the Cardinals. Lions coming off a loss. Cardinals coming off a big win. The line opened at 3, went down to 2.5. I snagged that Monday, I believe, put it in the Discord. We
So
have
I
the
gotta be
line
in the
on at
Discord.
2.5. It's up to 3 again, so which is why I say that, but I still like it at 3. I think if it gets to 3.5, then you stay away from it. But 2.5, 3, I think you're in a really good spot. The Lions are the better football team at the end of the day. They're going to bounce back here. I think what they need, Jared Goff threw the ball way too much last week. What they need to do is run the football with those two backs they have, those two elite running backs. Let Goff get in play action, and let's not throw the ball 45 times. If you do that, they'll win the football game. They're the better football team. They're the better coach team. At the end of the day, I don't see them losing this game.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, I'm all over the Lions plus the 3. Me and Trav.
Minus 2.5.
Oh yeah, my bad. Minus 2.5. But yeah, all over that. I'm thinking about the Eagles. Minus 2.5. Because yeah, I mean the Lions are obviously the better team in this situation. They had a rough loss, and honestly, they haven't been playing that great. So I mean, this is where they got to show up. Jared Goff had a really bad game last week, so I think this is where he kind of lights Arizona up a little bit. I don't think Arizona's defense is elite by any means. I don't think they're that good at all. So I think Jared Goff has a big game here. I think he throws for over 250. I don't know what the line is on his passing yards, but I think he goes over 250. Yeah, I like the Lions. I think this is a big Lions spot. And you got Arizona playing really good. I think Arizona is going to be like a big public play. Because, like I said, Lions haven't looked good. So I think a lot of people are going to be on Arizona. But we'll see. But, yeah, I love the Lions all over it.
All right, so next game, this is the battle of the injuries. We have the 49ers at the Rams. You might as well say at the 49ers because this will be a home game for the 49ers,
Yeah.
as it is every time they go to LA. Line open at 7. It's at 6.5 now. I mean, too many injuries here for me, Colm, I know for you too,
Yeah.
to even make a pick on this game. I think the 49ers are going to win it because the offensive line for the Rams is depleted.
So bad.
And the only injuries that's not in this game is the 49ers defensive line, and that's an elite defensive line. So
And
I'll
Brock
take
Purdy's
that,
gonna be
that
behind an
offensive
elite
line,
offensive
defensive
line.
line to get after Stafford. Unfortunately, I love Stafford, but that's just what the reality of it is. I think Purdy bounces back here in this game as well. He still has Ayuk. We saw Mason run the football well in week 1. He ran it okay last week. So I think the 49ers win, but I don't like a side here. 6.5 is a lot of points. So we're just going to pass on it. You got any more thoughts on that?
No, like you said, if I had to pick on this game, it'd be 49ers. I think the Rams are too depleted, and Brock Purdy also is still behind his elite offensive line. So I think they give him enough protection to get the ball out to Ayuk, who's healthy, or these second string guys. I think Brock Purdy's a guy in this league, and I think they'll win this game with ease. But I'm not going to touch it because that bad man Matt Stafford's on the other side, and
Exactly.
If anybody can beat him, it's Matt Stafford. So
He's a dog.
yeah. So
So that home leads us into Sunday Night Football
mhm.
at Chiefs at the Falcons,
Yes, sir.
and we really butchered this one because the line opened at 5. I wish we would have got that line at 5 or even 4.5. It's now down to 3. So that tells you where a lot of that pro money is. So
And we
we
don't do that
completely
with
missed it.
Mahomes.
I don't touch it at 3 now because Chiefs Mahomes against the spread 3 or under, he's elite. So for the Falcons here, I think if you got it at 4.5, 5, you're in a really good spot.
Yeah.
I think at 3, then absolutely the hell not, because at the end of that game,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of that game, there's going to be a flag, and there's Harrison Butker's going to kick a 50-yard field goal to win it by 2-3 points. So for me, I pass, but I like what I saw to Kirk Cousins on the last couple of drives. If he can play like that,
good.
they might win this game. It's going to be in the bins. I don't remember the last time they had a Sunday Night Football game. So
that crowd's gonna be popping.
yeah, when they're good, they're popping. When they're not, it's really bad fan base. So it just depends on what's going on with the Falcons. So
Yeah.
I think if you got the good number, props to you. At 3, you don't touch it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I like the Falcons in this game. Honestly, if I was to do anything, I would sprinkle a little bit on the money line. Because like Troy said, if it's a field goal or under, there's no point of even taking the spread because you're not getting the value that you would. And I think that the Falcons either win this game or they lose by 3 or more, and that's just the reality to it. So I think the Falcons are going to win. As a Falcons fan, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the Falcons, but that's kind of with a little bit of bias in me. But yeah, I think the Falcons win this game. I don't think the Chiefs are the team that everyone thinks they are. They've scraped by with 2 wins early. They're 2-0 because they kind of, as Troy said, they did get a little bit bailed out. But honestly, I think that the fans should be more mad about that holding call not being called than the actual pass interference because
there's 2 holding calls.
Well, it was definitely pass interference, but that one holding on that play was egregious. I mean, literally fully wrapped up, twisting him like in a headlock. Like that was egregious. I'd be more pissed about the holding call than, but the Chiefs never get called for holding, so it is what it is. And they always say there's holding on every play, but
not like that.
Yeah, but that's egregious. Yeah, that's egregious. I think you have to call that. I mean, it's so easy to see too from that back judge. And the pass interference, I understand being called because Rashee Rice was trying to make a play on the ball, and the dude just absolutely.
But I think the defensive back was as well.
He was making a play on the ball, but also at the same time, he was so early.
That get called on a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but see, if he would have timed it up,
the same scenario.
But I'm saying if he would have timed it up, like that's a good play. But he was so early, like the ball was still 6 feet away from Rashee Rice, and when he made contact, so it was like such. I'm not
arguing with you on the call. I get that it's by the rule, it's pass interference.
But also like you said, no other NFL team is getting that call.
The Lions had the same situation and did not get the call. So, anyways, I get fired up about the Chiefs getting calls because they got 3 Super Bowls because they get calls. And I'll stand by that shit.
Yeah,
49ers should have 2.
That
Eagles
one
should have another one.
Yeah, that one Eagles one was bad. That Juju Smith call was.
But this is what you have to do. You have to be like Tampa Bay and Tom Brady and just beat their ass. So you don't have to deal with that, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So, anyways, we'll move to Monday Night Football. We have 2 games Monday night.
Wow.
This first one is going to be on ESPN. Jaguars at the Bills. So you have 0-2 Jags at the 2-0 Bills. I mean, I think the Jags are in a spot here where they have to get a win.
Mm-hmm.
They're so it opened at 6, it's now at 5. So the Bills are a 5-point favorite, and we both love the Jaguars +5.
Love it.
And I think it's kind of a situation with the Falcons, right? We said we kind of like that money line. I kind of like the money line. Sprinkle a little bit on that money line here too.
Yeah,
T-Ball's got to come out and play. The secondary for the Bills is
so bad.
It's not good.
So bad.
Right? The only reason they're surviving is because
Josh Allen.
The head coach there knows how to scheme a defense.
Yeah. And Josh
so
Allen.
I think T-Law's in a situation here where it wasn't Josh Allen last week, it was the running game. So I think T-Law's in a situation here where he has to come out and prove why he was the number 1 overall pick. Prove why he got that big contract. You have the weapons to do it. the defense for the Jaguars, especially up front, I mean, a bunch of dudes. So I think five's way too many points here. So we're going to be taking the Jags plus five. I think they win the game outright.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of like what Troy said, I mean, yes, Josh Allen is very good, and he still went 13 for 19 last week. He did only have 139 yards, but his average pass was 7 yards. So when you're
I
13
mean, he
for
didn't
19,
have to, right? He
yeah,
didn't
that's what
have
I'm
to.
saying. And
Yeah.
do you really think that James Cook is gonna, run for 78 again?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that happens again. I think the Dolphins, or not the Dolphins, they played the Dolphins last week. But I think that basically the Jags are going to know how to scheme up against them. They're going to stack the box. They're going to make them throw the ball. And they're also, like, I feel like the Bills are an easy team to scheme for now that there's some tape on them. Because before it was like, we know they're going to try to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. We got to worry about the deep ball to Gabe Davis. So now this is a completely different roster the following year. And you kind of have to learn how to play these guys. You're like, wait, how are they going to play? Like, because it used to just be backyard football with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. But the first 2 weeks, they come out and shock everybody, and it's RPOs, and it's Josh Allen running read options, and it's all this crazy short stuff. And so I think that now that there's some film on these guys, they're pretty easy to game plan for. I think the Jags are going to stack the box, make them throw the ball, and then they're going to have someone keep an eye on fucking Josh Allen and basically either make him make a bad decision, or basically, hey, you're gonna have to take off and you're gonna have to run through my face every play. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
I think that the Jags win this game. Honestly, I love that money line play. I know me and Troy are both gonna take the money line, and we're also gonna take them +5. So money line is not gonna be one of the plays of the week though, but +5 will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
All right.
sprinkle on the ML.
Christian, here we go. Commanders at the Bengals. Last game of the week on ABC. Blind open at Bengals -7.5. It's now at 7. Total's 47.5. The Bengals do this every year. They're not going to go 0-3. They've gone 0-2 the last 3 years. They always bounce back. They looked like the better football team last week against the Chiefs. I think 7 points is I hate betting teams with big spreads like that. You know how I am. I think 7 is just. I think they can do it. I think if I had to lean away, that's where I'm leaning. Gun to my head, right? We're gonna take the Bengals -7, but I can't pull the trigger on that. Unfortunately, if anything, I think the over looks really good. 47.5. It's not like the Commanders' offense has been bad. They've scored some points the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I could see like a 31-20 game here.
But they also made 7 field goals last week to get to 21 points.
Right, but they drove down the field 7 times.
Yeah.
They just so my point, I could see it going over, but nothing like official for me. I just can't get anywhere to where I'm like I love that play. So I think the Bengals are going to win this game. We have them in a teaser that I mentioned at the beginning of the show with the Jets and a couple other teams. So that would bring it down to -1. And I also am alive in my Survivor League, and I am picking the Bengals in my Survivor. So I don't see them losing this game.
Damn, you didn't get out on the first 2 weeks. Who did you pick the first 2
Dude,
weeks?
I'm so shocked. I got super lucky. Let me go and look while you're putting your point in.
Yeah,
I'll
I
tell
got
you.
you, I
I'll
got
tell you
you.
what I got.
So yeah, I like the Bengals here as well. I think this is a must-win spot. We were just talking about guys on hot seats. I think Zach Taylor, that's his name, right? Am I fucking that up? Yeah, Zach Taylor. I think he could be on the hot seat if these guys start off 0-3 with the roster that they have. I know that there's all this drama with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and losing Mixon. I think Mixon was a big glue guy there.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how this Bengals team is going to react. I don't know if they're completely dead, or if it's like when they started off 0-2 the year that they went to the Super Bowl. I think they did. So I mean, this is a weird spot.
They did not that year, by the way.
It wasn't that year. Was it the following?
The 22-23 in this year, they've started 0-2.
There you go. There you go.
And they went to the AFC Championship game in 22.
That's the one I'm talking about.
And the Chiefs got bailed out by the refs in that game as well.
Yeah, it was the 2022. So they had a great season then and started off 0-2. But I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of drama on this team. And Troy was kind of telling me like how he kind of thinks that organization's ran, and it makes a lot of sense. So I don't know if you kind of want to tell them that, but it made a lot of sense when he kind of went through that, and I was like, damn, that actually does make sense. So
Just about like the You're talking about like with the contract thing?
Yeah, like how they run it like a ma and pa, like instead of like an actual
Yeah,
NFL organization.
sorry about that. Sorry. The owner of that team is not your typical owner. He's very by the books, like tries to save money. That's why they walk across the damn street to go to practice.
Right.
Their organization is not like you would see with the Falcons, where they have an entire sales team, they have an entire events team, they have like there a lot of people wear a lot of hats in that organization. Like so, like if I'm working there, I could be selling tickets and I also could be running events. Like just it's not what you think it is. Not a lot of money coming in there. And that's why it's so hard for Chase to get that contract because the owner just spent what 300 mil on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean that's the whole. They're just it's run differently. And I know they came out this week with the $1 billion proposal for the stadium and stuff. So it's about damn time. But the taxpayers are going to be paying for most of that anyway. So,
Exactly.
um, but okay, Survivor. I wanted to. We'll talk about this real quick, and then we can make this a. I'll start if I keep winning, then we'll start talking about this more. But week one, I took the Bucks against the Commanders,
Nice.
and then week two, I took Seattle last week against the Patriots and
Oh my
got and
god.
won in overtime. So
Because
this
I
week, I'm
think
taking the.
everyone lost on the
Go ahead.
Ravens last week, right? I think a ton of
Yeah.
like
So
the first two, the top two teams
yeah
in or the top one team in both weeks lost. Like the
yeah
most
the
big
the
team.
Ravens got was a big thing last week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another. The Ravens, 29% of the people in the Survivor picked the Ravens. That's big. Um, I'm scrolling. Chargers were a big one, but they won obviously.
Mm.
Um, 4% picked the Cowboys.
Damn.
Um, let's see. 3% picked the Lions. Still a bit like when you're talking about
Thousands of people.
there was another one that was huge. Oh, the Eagles too. 9% picked the Eagles. So
Damn.
a lot of people got eliminated last week. But I got the Bengals this week against the Commanders, and I think we moved to week 4.